We see here game 3, 3 minutes remaining in the round. This is one of those mid-range mirrors. I think Steven Mann is more up to date on the metagame here. He's playing a whip deck in the mid-range mirror, whereas Melinkovich is just playing straight Obzon mid-range, no whip. But Obzon's been a great deck, and we'll see whether or not they can finish this game in time. These whip mirrors, very time sensitive.
Yes.
Sidisi here attacking, making a zombie for Mann. And it looks like both players are aware of this. Melinkovich is racing. He has Mann down to 7. He has a Fleece main line and a Siege Rhino. And we'll see a Thoughtseize out of Mann. Melinkovich at a healthy 23. Okay, Thoughtseize there took care of a Banishing Light from Melinkovich. And he's takes most of the play out of his hand.
Steven very low, but a pretty stocked hand, flush with some blockers. And Kyle with not much left over at this point.
Yeah, he does have a Hero's Downfall. We'll see if he downfalls. He might need to get that Fleece main before it becomes big. He's going to get the Siege Rhino, giving Kyle a chance to use the Monstrosity ability on Fleece main line.
Well, the thing is, with a Sidisi in play, there's an argument for saying, you know, I have if this is Kyle's entire turn, then I get another token, and now I have at least two chump blockers to start with. So he might be fine with saying, all right, Kyle, this is your whole turn.
And there's a bit of a pinch here too, right? Because Hero's Downfall is the top card of Mann's deck, so Kyle knows if he doesn't use Monstrosity this turn, he's going to lose the Fleece main line.
Exactly. And you can see a Farika in Steven's hand as well, which gives Steven an endless supply of chump blockers too. So
right.
I think that even though this looks bad on the surface, Steven without an immediate answer to this Fleece main line, I think he has enough sideways ways to sort of chump block and mitigate it that he's happy with this being Kyle's entire turn.
Yeah, I mean, the danger is that if Melinkovich decides to use this Fleece main line to block, Mann might not be able to get past it.
Sure, no, there's definitely a concern there, but, you know.
He'll swing back for 5, makes a zombie off Sidisi, another Sidisi on top. That's not exactly what he wants to see.
Kyle is at 13, and Steven's continuing to add to his board. I think it's feasible here for him to overwhelm this one Fleece main line, especially not with the Farika, because generating an army of 1/1s is really good against one big blocker. So, as I said before, I really like the way that Steven's managed this Fleece main line. He's not answering it directly. He's not killing it, but he's generating enough of a board that it may not matter very much.
And now he's going to have to burn his Hero's Downfalls. You see the draw for Melinkovich there was a copy of Elspeth Sun's Champion. So it'll get 3 1/1s even with the removal spell from Mann. Of note, Mann has right now 6 Devotion to Farika, so it's not online, but he probably can make it online.
Yeah.
Elspeth pluses to make 3 1/1s. It looks like they're going to reach extra turns. We will update you on that. Yep, this is turn 1 for Mann. He'll use the end step to downfall the Elspeth.
Now this knocks Steven down to 4, and I'm sure he wants to keep himself above 3 here because of Siege Rhino. Courser might be able to help him there, but something to keep in mind.
Top card, there's a Swamp. He'll play that one for free, go up to 6. Whip of Erebos. That should give Steven an insurance policy against losing in extra turns if he makes it to that card. But see, Doomwake Giant, an excellent draw here for Mann.
Yeah, had that last turn, so not a huge deal that the Elspeth resolved last turn.
Yeah, not only does it take care of the tokens, but it is the 7th Pip of Devotion for the Farika. So that card is online now.
And I think that Steven can just make an Alpha Strike here. He can send in everyone.
Well, he won't lose the Sidisi because if Fleece main line blocks the Sidisi, he can actually make a Snake token, and that's another enchantment token, so it will shrink the Fleece main down to a 2/2, and Sidisi will live.
Exactly. So at that point, Kyle's probably just chump blocking Farika, in which case the attack is awesome. It's awesome no matter what for Steven. It can't fail.
It looks like Steven will be able to get this in 5 turns, borrowing some great draws from Kyle. So here's a full attack. Whip's going to get mailed. Will he get a creature with it? He will. It is another copy of Sidisi. And top card here is another Whip of Erebos. So
Perfect.
exactly what he wants.
And as you mentioned, Kyle can't really make any inroads on the board because the Fleeceman line right now is a 3-3, liable to go to a 2-2. Kyle can't block the token realistically.
I mean, that if he wants to get a creature, that's what he'd have to do.
Exactly.
And you see, he's going to go for the Sidisi. That forces Steven to exile his own creature to Farika. Makes a black-green snake token that is also an enchantment, so it does shrink Fleeceman to a 2-2.
So that 9 points of damage comes across here.
Yeah, Kyle drops to 4. And his hand has nothing in it right now.
The next turn, even if something like Wingmate Rocket's dropped, Steven pushes through that. Elspeths have no help here rather, because Steven can just re-trigger the Doomweight Giant.
It'd have to be something like Dune Blast.
Yeah, he needs a pure sweeper.
Yeah, he does have a copy of End Hostilities postboard. Does not look like he's opting for the Dune Blasts. That is something we've seen out of the sideboards of Abzan, though. And it looks like these Reanimator decks doing exactly what they're supposed to do against mid-range.
Yeah, I think this matchup is really problematic for the mid-range deck, the same way that the old Abzan aggro deck had a problematic matchup against the mid-range deck. Just a little bit more slower, a little bit more powerful. That's a hard recipe to beat.
With these creature matchups, that's generally a good rule of thumb. You just want to be a little bit slower than your opponent.
Yep. And now I think Steven actually has the option of just triggering the Doomweight Giant 3 times through Farika.
Yeah, he draws Whip of Erebos. He does have enough triggers that should be lethal.
Or he can just attack. That's yeah, sure.
There
Doesn't need anything else here.
So 2-1, Steven Mann takes game 3, and he's the winner over Kyle Melinkovich. He'll move to 2-0 for the day.
Again, Steven Mann right now in the Players' Championship, trying to solidify a spot. The people right below him, Dylan Donegan, Eric Rill, Andrew Tenchip, they're not in attendance this weekend. So if Steven has a good run here, it's probably going to solidify him, barring something insane out of those players, like runner-up at the Invitational sort of finish. So Steven put in some work here, getting out here early and off to a nice start.